Open our eyes to see the world again, not just the numbers, but the faces in the pain. Hear every story hidden in the ground, hope in the silence, waiting to be found. From broken systems to a brighter way, we're planting seeds for a stronger day. Hands together, hearts aligned, one shared future, one humankind. Let us see what matters most. Feel the rhythm, feel the hope. With every step, with every start, we build solutions from the heart, from the heart, from the heart. Let justice flow where the water's dry. Let every child dare to dream and try. When the night feels long, we choose to stand. Faith in tomorrow, built by our hands. Generation rooted deep in care. Not just progress, but love we share. If the path is hard, we won't depart. Purpose beating like a living heart. Let us see what matters most. Feel the rhythm, feel the hope. With every step, with every start, we build solutions from the heart, from the heart, from the heart, from the heart, from the heart. From ideas to action, hand in hand, we rise together, we take our stand. One vision, one hope, one plan. This is the SDG Solutions Lab.
Water is one of the most fundamental human needs, yet it's also one of the places where climate change hits hardest. Today we explore how climate change is reshaping water access, sanitation and rights around the world. The latest United Nations Sustainable Development Goals report shows that in 2024, about 2.2 billion people worldwide lacked safely managed drinking water, and 3.4 billion lacked safely managed sanitation essential services for health and dignity. Climate change, population growth and pollution are straining water systems everywhere. Climate change is making water scarcity worse by disrupting the water cycle, causing droughts in some regions and floods in others, reducing snowpack and glacier sources that billions depend on for water, and increasing competition for already limited freshwater resources.
Welcome to SDG Solutions Lab on IAN, the Youth Impact Network, where we unpack the Sustainable Development Goals through real stories, real challenges, and real youth-led solutions from around the world. I'm Kutlwano, and today we are focusing on SDG 6, clean water and sanitation, an issue that affects every country, every community, and every future. Before we dive into the SDGs and the global water crisis, I want us to get to know our guests beyond the titles, role, and advocacy, just the human behind the work. So, good day, Haemil, and how are you?
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm doing good. Thank you for this opportunity to speak on SDG 6. I'm really grateful.
Nice to meet you too, and nice to see you. So we're gonna do some icebreakers. So it's just like general questions that I ask you, and you would respond just normally. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So if someone visited South Korea for the first time, what's one thing about daily life that would totally surprise them?
Totally surprised them.
Yes.
Mm, well, I'm not sure. Maybe people will be surprised at how we all wear black or white clothes. Because Korean people avoid wearing colorful clothes, not because we are like not liking color, it's because colorful clothes easily get dirty and we don't want to wash our clothes too often. We don't want our clothes to you look dirty. But that's
I
why.
get that.
I,
So, I want you to be fully honest on this one. I've ate bulgogi, gimbap. We have like Korean restaurants like close to where I live. The food is really nice. But what's that one Korean food you'd recommend to everyone watching? And what's one thing that might scare them?
one food that I'd like to recommend is definitely 닭갈비. It's a chicken with spicy sauce. I recommend this food because first, everyone can eat chicken no matter their religion is, and second, it is spicy but tasty spicy. So I'm pretty sure someone who can tolerate spice can have it and say, "Oh, it's nice." And third, the food is just really good. It's one of my favorite.
That's really great. So, if you weren't doing climate and water advocacy, what do you think you'd be doing instead?
Instead of climate change and water sanitation. That's interesting question because I've never thought about other career paths. But maybe I will teach kids taekwondo because I learned that sports pretty a long time and I love just hanging out, not teaching kids, interact with them because I feel like it really purifies my soul.
Okay, so the next question is very simple. Uh, Instagram or TikTok and why?
Oh, Instagram because I, I think Instagram is easier to communicate with people. The direct message is really a thing. But I really love the TikTok algorithm. TikTok algorithm never fail me. They always provide the best content. Still, I would rather choose Instagram because I use it more often than TikTok.
That's really good. So what's something people would be surprised to learn about you?
People are surprised knowing about me.
Yeah.
Mm, I'm pretty athletic. As I mentioned before, I've learned Taekwondo for a long time, like 10 years. And also have a I won third place in the biggest national competition. People don't think I maybe not enjoy sports, but I love watching sports and playing sports. I'm a big fan of Korean Baseball League.
Hearing about the life in Korea and your journey really puts things into perspective, and it really connects perfectly to today's topic because water access, climate impact, and sustainability show up differently in each and every country. Joining us today is Haemil Park, a youth climate advocate based in South Korea, working across climate action, water rights, and youth-led policy and engagement. Haemil is actively involved with organizations such as the World's Youth for Climate Justice, H2O for Life, Equality, FMBO with Save the Children Korea, and the CLIMA Times, where she works on communication, project management, and youth engagement. Her work centers around amplifying youth voices, advancing climate and water justice, and pushing systems level change. So, Hamil, would with the millions and and billions people who live around the world without clean water or sanitation, and the growing impact of climate change on water system, where do you see that the most urgent challenges today, both globally and in your experience there in South Korea?
I think it's a bit different in my country and globally. In my country, it's more about awareness because what I've known, about 99% of people have access to water, yet the 1% don't. But the thing is, people think that water is a given thing. We have water, of course. So people don't pay attention to local and global water, lack of access to water. And that's South Korea's issue. And globally, I think the lack of water is the most urgent issue because water is not just a environmental issue. It's deeply connected with human rights. If you don't have water, you will be very easy to get some disease like cholera. And if you don't have water, you will spend hours to get a water from far away from your town that will make you not be able to attend school. So yeah, I think lack of water access is the most urgent issue globally.
Oh, yes. So, how does climate change worsen water scarcity, and sanitation issues in different regions around the world?
Mm, Climate change damages both quantity and quality of water. Rising temperatures accelerate evaporation and intensify droughts, while extreme rainfall overwhelms sanitation systems and contaminate drinking water. Arid regions face chronic shortage, and flood-prone regions see infrastructure collapse. The outcome is the same everywhere: unsafe, higher disease risk, and the poorest community hit first.
In your work with youth climate justice networks, what have you learned about how water intersects with climate rights?
Water is, I'm sorry for repeating same thing, but water is not just an environmental issue. It is a right issue in general. When climate impact reduce access to clean water, existing inequality decide who suffer. Women, children, and low-income communities are affected first. That's why adaptation without water-based approach fails. We must ask who controls water, who is excluded, and who pays the cost of climate damages.
So, in South Korea, water concerns sometimes show up as urban flooding or drought cycles. How do especially with the situation that has happened in August, the heavy rainfall, how do local realities reflect what's happening globally?
South Korea recent extreme rainfall and recurring droughts mirror the global pattern, the destabilized water cycle. We're seeing more too much water in cities through flood and too little water through seasonal shortage. There was massive rainfall in August, but at the same time, the east side of Korea would suffer because it was we were going through heavy drought and people can't use water. It was it never happened in our history and it was our first time. This is exactly what climate science predict worldwide. Rate of volatility, sorry, not gradual change. South Korea is not just an exception. It is a compressed case study of global water crisis.
So, when young people are often framed as future voters or future leaders, but in your work, how are the youth acting now to shape water and climate policy?
Mm, Young people are already changing policy by producing evidence, mobilizing public pressure, and partnering with local government. We write policy briefs, speak in formal consultation, and run pilot projects that show what works. We're not waiting for power, we are building it through data, alliance, and result. I feel like the government and the people with power wants to give more opportunity to youth. They want to listen our opinion more. So I think we're slowly making a change with evidence.
So when we come to your work now, we are coming to your personal work. Tell us about Equality. What motivated you to co-found it, and how does it address water access and climate-related challenges?
Mm, I co-founded Equality because I saw that water injustice is often discussed, but rarely operationalized and it's not even discussed in Korea. So I made Equality to raise more awareness and actually take action. Equality focused on three things: education that connects climate science to daily water access, youth-led advocacy, and community project. I already launched my awareness project in my school. Also, we did fundraising for homeless who don't have access to water. And our goal is pretty simple. Our goal is to turn awareness into measurable access.
So how do organizations like World Youth for Climate Justice or SMBO, collaborate across borders to amplify voices on the water crisis?
Um, Unfortunately, we've never collaborated before, but if we get a chance to collaborate, Equality members are more young. A lot of them are from high school, but the other organization I'm affiliated with, World Youth for Climate Justice, is members are a little bit older and they are all college student or they have job. I think youth people our high schooler can give opinion and the adults in WICJ can make it come true with based on future generations opinion because they have more power that can make policy come true.
So when we speak of water and climate, they're deeply connected. Climate science will tell us if temperatures are rising or they are disrupting the water cycle, or intensifying floods and droughts. How should climate policy be integrated with water sanitation goals?
Uh, I think water must be the core metric of climate policy. I, I feel like water is not being considered enough to be centered. Not Water should not be a side issue. Every climate plan should test it against SDG 6. Does it protect watershed, strengthen sanitation under extreme weather, finance climate resilient water infrastructure, like things like this? If water security is not built in, the police will fail on the ground.
So do you think that if the policies would fail to the ground, we would also like not even have like foundational help. If we run in a world where not everything is guaranteed, all right? So as we
Mm.
are, what would be that immediate save if the policies are failing to the ground?
I think it's pretty obvious and already happening. If policy fail on the ground, then the most vulnerable community, the children, the women, and the financially unstable communities will suffer the first. Children will suffer from disease. Women will not go to school to get the water, and the low income community could pass away because they could not drink water. I think it's pretty obvious and it sadly is already happening in the world right now. That's why we should consider water as the metric of climate policy ASAP.
So if you could advise global leaders from the UN to the national government, what one priority should they focus on to protect water security for future generations?
Mm, well, I'd like to let them know that water is a human right. I like to highlight it very strongly. So I'd like to advise that invest in resilient water infrastructure for vulnerable community. Not simply pledges, actual funding for pipes, treatment, flood management, and drought preparedness. Also education to the community so that they can sustainably maintain it. Without resilient system where people live, every other promises on the water security is empty.
So, what role do you think youth activists, like you yourself, should play in climate negotiations? It can't be only that the government would be the people only making the decisions and also the UN and all of those type of people. But if you could be involved in the climate negotiations, what role would you play, especially in issues like water rights and the SDG 6 specifically?
Um, sorry. Youth like me must be watchdog and agenda setters. We should challenge vague commitment, insert equity into technical discussion, and bring reality into negotiation. Our role is not, I hope our role is not symbolic participation. It is to make policy accountable to future generation.
So for young people who are watching and want to get involved in water, climate, and justice work, what's the first step you would recommend?
I like to say start local because every region has its own water and sanitation issue, but we don't notice it because we're being ignored. And I was like that too when I started to recognize that, oh, there is a SDG 6 issue, then let's take a look who is suffering due to this issue. That's the moment that I can see that it is our problem. And then started to communicate with them. Why are you having this problem? What do you need to solve this situation? Not only to the people who is going through it, but also the organization who's working to help them and the government making policy. And then take action. It's okay to start small. I started with just making a poster and post it on school. Just start small, but gradually expand your work in network.
Are there simple, everyday actions at school or in your
Mhm.
community or even online, that help support water security or climate resilience?
One very simple action is to give your attention to the water issue in general. There are a lot of article reports that are talking about water issue, but they're not be seen because we're not interested in. Because so I want people to engage with those type of content. Please comment, like, and even share it on your social media. Your attention can make a change.
So what I want to know, what gives you hope about the future, even while climate and water stress remain major global challenges?
Mm, what gives me hope is not optimism. It is a capacity. I see young people building I see young people uniting and producing credible research and forcing institutions to respond. The crisis is real, but so is the generation that refuses to accept empty promises. That is not hope by emotion, it is hope by action. I hope young people are more motivated and keep doing their work. I'm so proud of my generation.
As we wrap up this SDG Solutions Lab episode, I want to sincerely thank Haemil for sharing not only her work, but a perspective and lived commitment to change. Conversations like this remind us that the Sustainable Development Goals aren't abstract targets, they are deeply human, and they demand youth leadership across every region of the world. Thank you for watching this SDG Solutions Lab episode on Yin, where youth don't talk about the future, they help build it. See you in the next episode.